Hey guys, what's going on? It's been a while, so I just wanted to just kind of vent a little bit, get some things off my chest, kind of update you guys on what's been going on recently, and just go from there. So in the background, you probably just heard Marvel do a little shakeout with his collar there, and the World Series is on, so that's just kind of some background stuff. So the main thing for everyone, I'm sure, is aware at this point. Okay, me and Christina, the missus, we were expecting twins, and surprisingly, they decided to come 3.5 weeks early. So it was chaotic that day. So just to kind of go a bit of a rewind, she hadn't been feeling very sore, trying not sleeping well, so she just needed a solid day of just kind of rest. So I figured I would take our little beans, Olivia, take her out for breakfast, take her up to visit go grandma and grandpa because they hadn't seen her in a little bit. Got up there. Soon as I got up there, I put the car in park. My dad was walking out because there was a bunch of stuff. He was going to help me bring it to the house. The phone was ringing. It was Christina. So I'm like, what's going on? So she had said, yeah, you need to get home like now. So I basically handed my mom and my dad the coffee, and I said, I gotta go. So I had to hustle back. So 45 minutes of trying to freak out, staying calm. I'm trying to call my buddy Chris. At this point, I'm like, dude, it's 11:30 on a Sunday morning. Wake up, you should be awake. So he didn't answer his phone. I tried to call my aunt. I tried talking to my buddy. He couldn't really talk too well and listen because he was in the middle of a charity run for breast cancer awareness. So I'm just trying to think like, who can I get to? Who can I get to? Who can I get to? I tried calling my other buddy on my dart team, and it rang like once, maybe twice, and then it was ignored. And like a couple days later, he was like, "You should have called me," and I'm like, "I did. You ignored me." And he was like, "I was pooping." So shame on you, Filosa. But yeah, so just everything happened very very fast. Just trying to stay calm, understand, because again, 3.5 weeks early, we weren't totally prepared. We've been getting some stuff done. We thought we had some time. So it was a long day. She said, "Hey, you know what? At this point, it's about 4:30, 5 o'clock." She said, "You know what? Go home. It doesn't look like anything's going to happen till maybe tomorrow, which in this case would have been Monday, if not Tuesday." They wanted to keep in the babies as long as possible. I got home, or I should say, I left. I got gas. I got dinner. Just chilled and relaxed for a little bit. I was home for maybe about a half hour. She said, "Come back. They're doing this tonight." So that was at like 6:30, quarter seven. Went back there. Um, yeah. So it was at quarter after nine. Both the twins were born. Okay. Now we have a boy and another girl. All right. So they are Connor and Charlotte. So the blessing is that they're here. Um, Now this is where it's just kind of information, and then it's going to lead into me venting it a little bit too. Um, it was just very different because when Olivia was born, I went over, I got to see her. I got to kind of like touch her hands and her toes and see them clean her up and everything, and took pictures right there. When the twins were taken out, didn't really get to see them. They took Charlotte back in the corner. They cleaned her up a little bit, and they wrapped her up in a blanket. Hey, here you go. Check her out. Just filled a little bit of her face, and then boom, they took her. Literally got to see her for like 30 seconds. With Connor, it was more time that it was taken. You could kind of hear that it sounded like there was a little bit of distress and concern, but it was hard to make out what was going on because they were in the back corner, and then you have the other doctors up front here, right by where Christina was. We didn't even get to see him. He was in a kind of a plastic table, almost kind of like an incubator, you could say. He was wrapped up. He was rolled facing the other way. They took him straight out. They just said he was having troubles breathing, and they took him out. That was all we got. So, how are you kind of supposed to remain calm? They said, yeah, just give us about 20 minutes, half hour. you'll be able to see him a little bit once he's settled. So at this point, it's like 9:30 now. Okay, not a problem. She was going into recovery. They said it was just going to be 2 hours, so I'm thinking 11:30, 12 o'clock. And then I was figuring, okay, well, I'll still get to see the twins again in a little bit. Before you know it, I didn't get to see them until, I want to say 11:30, 12 o'clock. And then Christina, she didn't come out of recovery until it was about almost 2 o'clock in the morning. And it just turned into a long night. I had to stop off at 7-Eleven to kind of get a caffeine kick just to make the 10-minute drive home, because it was rough. So by the time I got home, it was 3 in bed, 3:30. But I didn't just want to leave without seeing, obviously, Christina come into the room. I didn't just want her to walk into an empty room and be like, where did he go? What's going on with his part? What does he know, being me, about the babies? Where they're at? I wanted to stay there. So that's that. So from where they are now, today being Friday, so you figure Monday was one day, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, so it's been 4 days, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 5 days. So Monday, no real status change. Everything was pretty much the same. On Tuesday, Charlotte, she kind of got a little bit better. Connor was not. So at this point, you figure at this point it had been about a little over 36 hours. So they had to do an ambulance transport. They had to transport him to a grade 4 hospital. So it was a little tough. But at the same point, it's kind of one of those things where he's going to a more of an upscale elite hospital that specializes in that. There were going to be more eyes and more hands on dedicated to just him than this hospital where he was born than they could offer for him. And I just tried to keep the mood a little bit light and jokey, just so it wasn't a total situation. I said, hey, it's going where the Jets go. That's where all the athletes go. It's got to be a good hospital. But it was a little rough. Christina was discharged from the hospital on Wednesday. So as soon as we got to the hospital for on Wednesday, then we went down to the other hospital. We saw him. Still stable. Nothing much was changed. And then yesterday, big improvement. His breathing had gotten better. It's closer to normal. Not totally, but it's gotten better. His eating situation has rapidly changed. So he was eating 5 milliliters on a feeding through a tube, and they said they pulled the tube, and now he's up to 30 milliliters. So basically his food intake went up 7 times in the course of one day. So we're joking, we're calling him our little Steve Rogers. You know what I mean? Because the military didn't want him, but they gave him the super serum, so now he's going to get big and strong. But so that's everything that's going on with that. But so just to do a rewind for a minute, so that's everything that's been going on with me and Christina. Some people have been curious, probably. So I'm sorry, Marvel, I don't mean to bore you. So that's everything that's been going on with me and Christina at this point. Hey, Marvel, you gonna say hello? Yeah, I know. Yeah, they felt neglected because they've just been they've kind of, a lot of the days they've just been here on their own. So the thing I was talking about Christina the one day is I was like, you know what? It's like just thinking about all of this, like me going through this, a girl that I went to school with many years ago. Last year she gave birth to someone, to a child he was premature. So I remember her doing the updates on that through Facebook. One of the guys on my darts team, his daughter was premature, and we're just talking about it, how it can be sad, it can be rough, but these hospitals, they know what they're doing. So it's not necessarily, it's tough because you don't expect it, you're not prepared for it, you may not necessarily think it can happen to you, or it was just never a thought, whatever the case may be. So, but it's just one of those things, like, you know, just in general, you know what I mean? Like, when I was in the delivery room, and when we were covering last year, me and Christina, like 5 minutes after Olivia was out, you know what I mean, we didn't take the picture of the three of us and put it on Facebook or Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, wherever all these other social media apps are. Like, I don't get why people do that. Like, just kind of just kick back, sit, relax for a minute, and just enjoy what's going on. You know, for you putting the picture out there for, you know, Joe and George and Debbie and Eliza from college and high school, like, that doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. I just don't understand why, like, ooh, 5 minutes, yay, let's show everybody. Like, I don't get it. Like, take the time out to just disappear, because it's not about everybody else, man. I don't get it. So that's on the good part of it. You know what I mean? So, like, even like something like this, like, you know, everybody's asking, like, we want pictures, what's going on? We want pictures, we want pictures, we want pictures, let me see them. And it's like, you know, this is the part where it's tough too, because it's like, again, today is Friday, it's basically, I think I said day 5, right? I didn't get to hold my daughter Charlotte until yesterday for the first time. For the first few days, Christina couldn't even really hold her, just because, again, she was minimal, she was little, she's, you know, underweight and stuff. She had to be very extremely careful when she was, and it was only for feeding, and that was it. But she's held her a few times, but, like, I only held her the one time. You know what I mean? My son Connor, I haven't even held him yet. Christina held him twice, before he was being transported, and then when she fed him yesterday. Or no, she didn't even feed him yesterday. Just because they said he was a little bit more stable. But even then, it's tough, because, you know, he's got, like, the breathing tubes, because he's having the trouble breathing. So I haven't even held him yet, you know what I mean? And they were doing a cleanup of basically his mask, his tubes, and his diaper and everything. And they did the UV light and all that stuff. So in the middle of doing all of this, they said, all right, Dad, if you want, get ready real quick, you can take a picture. So they have it off, and I snuck in a quick picture because they said it was okay. But even though I kind of, like, saw his face, what he looks like, it's hard to understand exactly what he looks like, because you figure, like, he's got this indent from, like, this mask from the phototherapy, so you kind of have the indents there, and then he's had the hoses for his breathing, so that's kind of, like, covered here, so you have, like, these imprints that's kind of, like, you know, misshapen his face a little bit, so it's like, you still don't really kind of have a true concept of what he looks like, other than his nose. Olivia, Charlotte, and Connor, all three of them, they all have my wife's nose, and all three of them have my fingers and toes. So that we know, but, like, face wise, like, again, okay, they got a good head of hair, not mine, but I don't know, you know, it's just one of those things. It's like, I don't understand. So back to the point where I was saying, where everybody wants pictures, and we're not gonna share pictures right now, just because it's sad. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to introduce my son and my daughter in Charlotte, she's not too bad. Connor, again, like I said, just with the breathing hoses and stuff like that, and you seeing him breathe, the struggle, it's tough. I'm not going to introduce him to people like that. Absolutely not. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't understand why people say, hey, look at my, you know, baby that weighs 3.5 pounds with the hoses popped up. Look, I had him, he's here, but pray for me though. Like, why would you do that? Like, that's very hard. that's very, very hard to deal with. So I just don't understand why people want to. What are you putting that on Facebook for? I just don't get it. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, do you? I don't understand if it's the pity, it's the attention. You know, most of the time, all I have social media wise, all I have is Facebook, and people don't totally believe that. They're like, no, you got to have Instagram. I don't. You know, what I mean, I don't know if you want YouTube. I'm not. If you consider that, okay, I'm not talking about it that way, but I'm talking about like Instagram. I have Twitter. I don't really go on there too much. You know what I mean? It's very minimal, very, very minimal, to the point where like I kind of wonder why did I even use that, but whatever. But like, yeah, Instagram and Snapchat. I was like, I don't have Snapchat, and everyone's like, what are you talking about? How do you not have Snapchat? They're like, give me your wife's Snapchat. I'm like, she doesn't have it either. And they're like, what's wrong with you people? But I don't get why everyone thinks like, boom, let me share it. Like, here's the thing. Let's just say the average person has, let's say, what, 450 friends on Facebook? All right, well, how many of those 450 friends are real friends and family? Let's say what, maybe, well, even we shoot for a high number if you have a big family, right? Real friends and family, maybe like 50 or 60. So now for that other 380 to 400 people, what are you putting it out there for sympathy likes and tears? I don't like it. I don't know. It's just one of those things. Just take the time out and appreciate it and enjoy it yourself. You know what I mean? Like, my aunt wants to go see them so bad. My sister, my mom, my dad, friends have been calling, texting, crazy. How you doing? I want to see pictures. We would have loved to, but it's not right. Right now, it's not right. I don't know what else to say. You know what I mean? At this point, we don't even know when they're coming home. There's just so much like questions and stuff that we should be worried about, that the parent that's posting that should be worried about. The very first thing should not be, look at my 28-month child who came 2.5, 3 months early, who's having trouble surviving at this point. Let me put a picture on them on Facebook, and they've been here for 2 days. What the fuck is wrong with you? Focus on getting yourself right. Focus on getting that kid healthy. I just don't get it. And I know that's the same thing I keep saying a lot. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Because I genuinely don't get it. Like, what are you trying to achieve by putting that out there? I don't know. Like I said, so this was a matter of an update. It was a matter of an update, just to kind of what's been going on, so you guys are aware with that's everything that's going, and then it's just a matter of a little bit of a event session, you know, just because it's just confusion, not understanding where people's heads are at when they do these things. So I may get backlash. I don't know. I don't care. Again, you know, sometimes my opinions and my voice, by what and you can see it here, my bracelets on here. You can see my opinion and my voice can at times trigger people. There are times I don't mean it to, and there are times I intentionally want it to. But this is just something where I'm just trying to understand the thought process when people do these things, because it's sad. I know, Kona, right? So I hope you got a little bit of enjoyment out of this. I hope it gave you guys a little something to think about. As always, I'm open ears. So if you have an opinion on something, throw it at me. Who knows, maybe I'll do a video on it. I don't know. But I just wanted to give you guys an update in terms of where things are at now. So, you enjoy the rest of your evening.